Hey, how are you? My name is Ben, and I'm a movie buff. Recently, I was watching Siskel and Ebert reviews, and one of the movies they were discussing was That Thing You Do. It was the writing and directing debut of Tom Hanks. They both liked the movie, but didn't know what the point of the movie was. Gene Siskel said, "What's the point of That Thing You Do? Beats me if it's anything beyond breezy nostalgia. I enjoyed it while I was watching it, but haven't given it a moment's thought since." This part really stuck with me, having been a fan of the movie for many years. I had a hard time trying to figure out that question. I think when someone asks a question like that, they're ultimately asking about the main theme or what's the moral of the story. I think Siskel is right to a certain extent because this movie certainly spends a lot of time on music performances and the excitement of a band becoming more and more popular with every passing day. There are some scenes that move the story or character development along, but I think the movie definitely has most of its focus dedicated to the roller coaster ride that this band embarks on. After thinking about this criticism, I thought it'd be fun to go back and not only watch the theatrical version, but also watch the extended cut of the movie that was released in 2007. I wanted to see if I could find a point of the movie, something meaningful that might be missed on a first viewing. After thinking about it long and hard, I think I figured out what the main theme of this movie is. Consider this your spoiler warning. Please watch the movie before you watch this video. It's a great movie and it's lots of fun. So, what is the point of this movie? Some things aren't meant to last. Even if this theme is not in the spotlight that often, there are enough instances of it to make me believe that this is what Tom Hanks was going for. The first scene where this is brought up is when Guy and his girlfriend Tina are driving home from the contest at the college. As you may remember, Guy was asked at the last minute to play drums for a slow song written by the band's lead singer and guitarist, Jimmy. At the actual performance, Guy played the drums quickly because he felt that the song was too slow. The other band members had to follow along, and it resulted in them winning. Guy mentions briefly that the only other band I was in was my uncle's band. We played this wedding for free, and then we broke up. They go on to talk about other things, but I think Guy brings this up because it's the only past experience in his life that is similar to what he's doing right now. While his uncle's band amounted to nothing, it sounds like he is hopeful that his current band will go on to do great things. After all, once they won the contest, the owner of a restaurant immediately approached them and asked if their next gig could be at his business. The band already seems to be doing just fine. Whether the band will break up or not is not really on Guy's radar, but it will be soon. The extended cut offers a quick scene that makes this theme a little more evident. During a band rehearsal after the contest, Jimmy and Lenny are arguing about one of their songs. Guy approaches Faye and asks if they were always like this. Faye says yes, and then mentions that it was also worse with Chad, the previous drummer. The look on Guy's face shows clear concern, but he makes a joke shortly afterwards, probably trying to distract himself. But for a quick moment, it's like he is now mildly concerned about the state of the band. Are these arguments so problematic that they could result in the band breaking up, or is it just a natural part of the band's dynamic? A fair amount of time in the movie passes before the next stage of Guy's concerns. When the Wonders are performing in Pittsburgh, after having landed Mr. White as their manager, he confirms the timeline for their tour of state fairs. It's then that Tobias, the bass player, admits that he'll be leaving the tour early, at the end of August, because he's joined the military. It's no secret that the band is not happy about hearing this sudden news. While Guy doesn't say anything during this moment, we see that he isn't thrilled. I imagine right at this moment, Guy is having flashbacks to the first band that he was in. They probably had fun for a little while, but it was short-lived. That mild concern from earlier has now developed into moderate concern. Now this moderate concern, of course, is how I interpret this beat of the story. I don't know for sure that this is what he is thinking about, but it makes sense that he could be, especially when I get to the next scene. It's only a matter of time before the original lineup of the band gets shaken up. The next time Guy brings up this issue is not for another 33 minutes. During this time, there are jokes, there are music performances, and a lot of excitement with how well their band is doing. Their song has shot up to number 7 on the Billboard 100, and they are going to perform their song on live TV in Hollywood very soon. But once the gang is in LA, Guy goes to a jazz club where he has the opportunity to meet his idol Del Paxton. While the two of them talk together, Guy asks about how to keep a band together. Del has this to say: "Ain't no way to keep a band together. Bands come and go. You gotta keep on playing, no matter with who." Guy also mentions that their band has only been together for 2 months. Del says, "Some bands I've been with, that's 2 months too long." This conversation is less than 2 minutes long in both versions of the movie, but it still sums up the whole meaning of the movie. Guy hopes that Del Paxton might have the answer for how to keep the band together, and the reality of the situation is that there is no easy answer. While there is uncertainty about the band's future, there is certainty about Guy's love for music. Let's get on to the last scene that deals with this theme. After their big performance on TV, the band gather in a recording studio to start recording covers of other songs. This whole time, Jimmy has wanted to record his ballads and has had to tolerate the playing of the same snappy songs again and again and again. Mr. White has very little interest in letting Jimmy record his ballads, so Jimmy goes up to a microphone and sings, I quit. I quit. I quit. What doesn't help matters is that Lenny has not shown up to the recording session because he won a lot of money in Las Vegas and decided to get married to this girl he just met. Everyone has left except Guy and Mr. White, and you can see the disappointment on Guy's face. They finally made it to another milestone, recording a song in an actual recording studio, but the band could not last. Mr. White tells Guy that the one-hit wonder is a very common tale in the music industry. What Guy has feared this whole time has finally come to fruition. This exciting roller coaster ride of playing to thousands of screaming fans and meeting all sorts of famous musicians has come to an abrupt end. Lenny and Tobias don't seem to care that much about the fate of the band. Jimmy is more angry about not getting to do the music his way, but Guy is really the one who wanted the band to continue onwards. At least on the bright side, Del Paxton happens to be visiting the studio that Guy is in, and they play some music together. After the movie is done, we get a Where Are They Now epilogue for each member of the Wonders. As you can see with Guy, music was still his passion. The same can be said for Jimmy, who went on to another band and found great success. However, it starts looking a little different when we get to Lenny, who is now a manager of a hotel. Tobias had done some incredible things with his life after the Wonders, but it doesn't seem like it has that much to do with music. These factoids make it clear that the Wonders were not meant to last many years like other bands. While watching the movie, you may notice that the two band members that seem to be interested the most in music are Guy and Jimmy. They clearly want music to be the center of their lives. You may notice that Lenny and Tobias don't bring up their passion for music throughout the movie. Sure, they play lots of music, but we know Tobias's loyalty lies with the army, and Lenny likes to have fun, especially with the ladies. These guys were not all on the same page regarding how their band should move forward together. While I noticed a few other themes peek their head out in the movie here and there, I found this one to be the most dominant. Even if it's not as clear as it should be, we see how this theme appears in the first 20 minutes of the movie. It's mentioned again on 2 occasions before we get to the end of the story, where the theme reaches its final beat. No matter how much fun the band has had with their one-hit wonder, it clearly wasn't meant to last. So, what's the point of that thing you do? It's that some things aren't meant to last. There are many contributing factors to the fame and fortune of a band. Who knows whether some bands may succeed and some bands may not. The Wonders had a magical formula that worked for 2 months, and that was it. But it's okay because it's not like the Where Are They Now epilogues for these characters are dark and depressing. It looks like these guys still had good lives after their one-hit wonder. Their time as a band was part of their lives, but not the only important part. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please comment below if you agree or disagree with the theme that I found in this movie. Like, comment, and share this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.